A one-on-one interview with the district attorney of Middlesex County. This after an Arlington business is closed. Its owner charged with human trafficking for sexual servitude. In wake of the recent Robert Kraft case, what's being done to crack down on such crimes? Arlington's about to get a lot more colorful. Town artists are looking for a few good imaginations to free their palettes and paint. All this while thinking outside the box. And a very talented and unique musician is coming to Arlington, a virtuoso whose act combines the likes of Johann Strauss, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and Led Zeppelin. In her case, the song does not remain the same. Arlington Public News is next.
Hello, I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm Carla Dorado. Patriots owner Robert Kraft pled not guilty to 2 counts of misdemeanor solicitation of prostitution in Florida recently.
This after he was charged in a crackdown on massage parlor prostitution.
His case brings to light the widespread abuse taking place in the back rooms of these storefronts nationwide. One case of alleged trafficking is pending in Arlington. In an exclusive one-on-one interview with the Middlesex County DA, ACMi's Jeff Barn talks about the challenging problems facing police and prosecutors in the lucrative underworld of sex trafficking.
47-year-old Dan Zhang, arrested last fall in Boston, charged with human trafficking for sexual servitude across 4 area massage parlors. According to law enforcement officials, this was one of them. The Lisa Massage Therapy Spa at 828 Mass Avenue, which has since been shut down. While the Zhang case is pending, law enforcement leaders hope that Robert Kraft's high-profile case shines a white-hot light on a very dark crime among the public.
That people will really take into consideration these businesses that really are ubiquitous. They hide in plain sight. Virtually every city and town has a little strip of stores where there's a massage, reflexology, bodyworks type place that if you're not patronizing that business, you probably don't even really notice. And they are often places where, as we've heard and as we see all too frequently, women and sometimes young men are being forced to live there, to work for virtually nothing, and perform sex acts as part of their employment, which is likely not what they intended.
Massachusetts state law currently allows so-called bodyworks businesses to go unlicensed. The district attorney of Middlesex County says closing that loophole could help in stopping human traffickers from setting up what seems to be a legitimate business and is nothing more than a front for sexual exploitation. But state measures to close that loophole have repeatedly failed to pass. Another bill to close that loophole was refiled last month. The
only type of business in this collection of things that are happening that's actually regulated by state law right now are massage parlors. In Middlesex County, we've been part of an effort for a few years to try to file some legislation, which so far hasn't passed, but that's not unusual, that would extend those regulations to other kind of places like reflexology, bodyworks.
With the current media frenzy surrounding one of the state's most visible celebrities charged in a human trafficking sting, Ryan is cautiously optimistic that the state may now do something to shore up the so-called bodyworks loophole.
Well, the question is whether the attention that it's gotten is sustainable and whether that causes people to think differently about taking a second look at these, about efforts to hold people accountable in these circumstances and really try to put an end to this situation.
For Arlington Public News, I'm Jeff Barn.
Dan Zhang pled not guilty in Middlesex Superior Court last month. She must surrender her passport and she faces scheduling hearing on March 15th.
The town's finance committee is throwing its support behind the high school building project. The committee voted unanimously to support a town meeting article that asks for an appropriation of $291 million and change for the high school. A 2/3 vote is needed from town meeting in order for a debt exclusion to go before voters. Arlington High School Building Committee members assured the Finance Committee that the project cannot go over budget once they've built in contingencies and would make cuts after that if those were to be reached.
But should we go through all those contingencies, we'll have to then, as a committee, be faced with reducing the scope of the project or reducing cost otherwise to stay within that project budget. So in terms of concerns about a runaway project budget and 291 today, but far more tomorrow, that actually cannot be the case based on the process the MSBA sets forth.
The town's expected share of the cost of the project is currently $205 million. A townwide vote on building the new high school is tentatively scheduled for June 11th.
Arlington's doing all it can to help residents make smart choices for a cleaner energy future. EcoFest Power Day took place at Town Hall Sunday, March 3rd. A chance for residents to learn more about improving home and transportation, energy efficiency, and choosing renewable energy. Experts discussed everything from electric car ownership to the now familiar Lime bike seen around town.
This is a tremendously important topic that we're working on, looking at the effect of how we use energy in our homes and on the road, how we can be more efficient with it, the choices that we make about the kind of energy we use, and the transition from fossil fuels to an all-electric future, which is closer than many people realize.
EcoFest Power Day was organized by Sustainable Arlington, Arlington Mothers Out Front, with the support from the town.
As we desperately wait for spring, rats find their way into homes to elude the cold weather. We first told you last summer about Arlington's ongoing rodent problem and how the health department offers free property inspections and advice. Many residents, however, are lured into leaving out poison to keep the vermin away. But that's causing exposure and even death to other animals that feed on rats and mice, like birds of prey, foxes, coyotes, and even dogs and cats. Arlington's Animal Control Officer Diane Welch says there are some things residents can do to help control the rat problem and stop this danger to our wildlife.
What has really endeared me to Arlington is that they are a very environmentally conscientious group of residents that care about the planet, and I love that. I think with our Board of Health, in terms of they'll come out and do free inspections and give suggestions, eliminating food sources like bird feeders. And people say, but I love the birds. Well, then you're going to have to love the rats too, because with all of the fallen seeds, it attracts. It's a food source for the rats. Composting, making sure it's above ground and contained and done properly. Making sure that your trash or your rubbish is secured.
You can watch the entire interview with Officer Welch on ACMi's public affairs show, Talk of the Town. Just go to our website, acmi.tv. There you can also find our previous stories and tips on how to rodent-proof your property.
Leonardo painted his mural of the Last Supper. Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel ceiling. And now Arlington's looking for a few good artists to paint boxes. Transformer boxes, to be precise. Artists living or working in Arlington can now submit designs to paint even more transformer boxes alongside Mass Ave. You recall this concept began 5 years ago, and so far 14 boxes have been painted. This year's theme is called In Motion. Designs can be anything the artist can come up with pertaining to movement, very similar to what we saw on several bus stops along Mass Avenue last year.
So we said, oh, well, you know what, it's good too. In motion just opens it up to so many different interpretations. So you could be abstract, you know, with lines and shapes and colors that seem to be moving. Anyway, we hope people have fun with it. Things flying, you know, that kind of thing. Just kind of go crazy with it.
Totally motion.
Motion, okay. Right.
Submissions will be judged by Arlington Public Art, Arlington Commission for Arts and Culture, and members of the town's business community.
The deadline to submit your work is April 15th. For more information, just go to artsarlington.org. You know, Carla, I really like this idea of painting the transformable boxes along the side of the road because it really offers a great kind of palette for public art and really beautifies the streetscape and livens the town up a little bit.
Oh, it does, because really they're not very attractive, quite frankly. Those boxes are pretty awful, but there have been some beautiful ones around. I particularly love the one that's over by the fire station in the center,
yes.
right on the, what is it, Broadway Plaza? It's really pretty. It's beautiful.
We have some exciting hockey action coming up from our Studio B. Find out how the Spy Ponders did.
And a virtuoso violinist is coming to Arlington with her absolutely heavenly sounds. Our arts and entertainment reporter Jamie Joseph takes the center stage. That's on the other side of the break.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I had something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
A very talented musician will be entertaining audiences next week with her unique blend of classical and popular music.
Virtuoso violinist Judy Lay will perform her Boundless Love concert at the Regent Theater March 15th.
Arts and entertainment reporter Jamie Joseph talks to this unique performer who has the marvelous ability to play the soft style of Mozart and the hard rockers like Led Zeppelin.
You're listening to the beautiful sounds of Judy Lay, violinist, composer, and musical cultural ambassador who has performed in solo concerts and many collaborative events. Born in China, Lay comes from a family of internationally renowned music composers and authors. When she arrived in the United States in 1988, she continued her music study under the renowned violinist and professor, Mr. Mark Zinger. Her own arrangements of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, Whitney Houston's One Moment in Time, Led Zeppelin's Kashmir, John Denver's Country Road Take Me Home, and current pop hits like Adele's Rolling in the Deep sent audiences on a captivating and unique concert journey through a broad and colorful musical spectrum. Miss Lay views herself not just a violinist, but an ambassador who can build connections between music and people's spirit. I had the honor and pleasure to meet this beautiful virtuoso right here in Studio A, as she was preparing for her upcoming Boundless Love concert to be performed at the Regent Theater Friday, March 15th.
My family, I was born in the music family. My dad is very well-known composer in China. My mother is also a music professor. Actually, the violin training in the classical way is very, very tough. My life was go to school, come back home, practice violin. So no, I cannot say during that time I love violin. It's like, you have to. So, but I think once you're growing up and then you have more life experience and you more relate to your music. And then now it's time I feel like, I have freedom to use my violin as my voice to touch people's soul. The music can put people together, and then the music also can touch people's heart.
You can learn more about Judy Lay, as well as get tickets to her upcoming Boundless Love concert by visiting the Regent Theater website, regenttheater.com. I'm Jamie from Arlington Public News, closing the show to the melodic sounds of Judy performing Hallelujah.
Even though it looks like northern Greenland outside, this should cheer you up. Do you want to play boys lacrosse in spring? I do. It's time to sign up.
And the hills of snow are alive with the sound of music. So says Sagar Rastogi with this week's Ponderscope from Studio B.
Welcome to the Ponderscope, your Arlington High School news, updates, and more. If you are interested in playing boys lacrosse this spring, make sure to drop by the mandatory informational meeting this Friday, March 8th from 6 to 7 p.m. The next date to take the ACT test is Saturday, April 13th. If you are interested in taking the test on this date, Make sure to register by this Friday, March 8th. After that, the next time the ACT will be offered is on Saturday, June 8th, with registration deadline of Friday, May 3rd. For more information on the registration process, visit act.org. The annual All-Town Orchestra concerts will be taking place next Friday, March 15th, at the Ottoson Middle School. The Arlington High School Orchestra will be performing at both the 4:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. concerts, along with the elementary and middle school orchestras. Make sure to stop by and help support the performing arts program in our community, all while having a great time. The deadline for the Robert M. Wilson Music Scholarship is quickly approaching. All completed applications must be submitted to the guidance office by Thursday, March 21st at noon. In order to qualify for the scholarship, students must be in grade 12, enrolled in a music program, have financial need, an overall B or better GPA, and they must participate in the community, school, or after-school activities. Applications are all available on the guidance website. I'm Sagar Rastogi, and this has been the Ponderscope.
We have some exciting early March playoff action on the ice.
The Spy Ponders were more than impressive March 3rd, and they were busy again this week.
Here's your sports update from Studio B.
Despite the piles of snow and cold temperatures, the winter playoff season is coming to an end, and Arlington is getting ready for the spring season. After winning their first playoff game at home, the boys basketball team hit the road to play Belmont last Friday. They unfortunately could not come away with the win, marking an end to their season.
Yes, be good. And a cozy.
The boys hockey team were also on the road this week for tournament matchups at the Songus Arena in Lowell. Over the weekend, they went up against a strong Framingham team, coming away with a close win in overtime.
Anthony, Missouri really hustled to get that one. Goal! It's all over. And the Ponders have won it. Good choice. That was Tyler Callahan, who's got a bullet of a shot. And that thing whistled by Villa. He had no chance.
Their win over Framingham put the Spy Ponders up against BC High and unfortunately took the loss. Although, their season is not over yet. You can catch the boys on the ice this Saturday at the Chelmsford Forum for a matchup against Xaverian at 8 p.m.
And of course, stay with us for all your latest news and sports updates. That'll do it for us here in Studio A. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm Carla Dorado. We'll see you next week.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Arlington Public. If you have any news tips for us here at Arlington Public News, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by the studio at 85 Park Avenue.